personal lineups and stack review for week 5. I'm Jason Gilbo. With me is Chris Myers. You did the review this week, as you always do. If you want to check out this article live and kind of see everything that he broke down, you can head on over to Daily Fantasy Cafe, check it out. Overall, what do you like about this the most about this kind of core this week?
I think it's the receivers, like just being kind of loaded, top heavy. The top two of the three are, in both lineups are very good. The GPP lineup, especially with the Antonio Brown and Odell Beckham pairing, I think is lethal. And you're going down on the running back discount, but you're getting guys who are going to catch the ball and get a lot of touches. Devonta Freeman is the guy who was a little bit of a question mark, but then I still like him to get 4 or 5 catches out of the backfield and plenty of touches this week. So that was my favorite part. I think the receiver being top loaded.
Yeah, there's definitely a ton of receivers out there. Nabbing two of the top real 3 elite guys there is what kind of it seemed to do in all 3 lineups. Looking at the cash one, Eli Manning pops up, $6K. I mean, really nice price tag for him this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he's facing the Packers who, are having a surprisingly good defense this season, but primarily because of the run. They're not allowing rushing at all. I think it's like 43 yards a game or something insane like that. But their passing defense is terrible. And after last week, Eli was shut down. Beckham was shut down. I think they're going to be coming out for blood this week, and they're just going to absolutely shred the Packers' defense. And the fact that the Packers are probably going to be able to do the same on the other side only justifies using Beckham even more, and Eli. They're just going to be passing the ball a lot. So.
Yeah, I mean, back and forth, I think that game flow is going to set up pretty well for both passing game. In terms of the backs, you kind of talked about Freeman, 5K, Theo Riddick as well at 4,900. Do you like these guys in cash, or is it more of a GPP move?
I'd be fine using one of them in cash. I don't know about both this week. I'd feel comfortable though plugging them in, I guess, at that price, and the fact that I can get Beckham, Brown, and Smith at receiver. I think that only adds to the value. So I'd take a few flyers on a GPP for sure. In cash, I'd maybe swap out a few guys if I could. Who I would, I'm not sure. But I'd be fine rolling with those two in most lineups.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, only just a combined salary of 9,900, and as you kind of touched on earlier, I mean, those guys are going to get receptions out of the backfield, which helps. I mean, usually we see Devonta Freeman, that price is up over 6K, 7K range at times, and because of the matchup, they kind of dropped him down, but I still think he'll be used, pretty heavily.
Yeah. Yep, and in GPP especially, people are probably going to fade Freeman just because it is the Broncos, so it may have a little upside there, even if he gets, 4 catches and 70 yards, maybe even a touchdown. You never know. He could be huge value. So,
yeah, definitely. And you talked about Steve Smith. I mean, 5,300, kind of the value of the group. You liking him this week?
Yeah, I think he's safe. He's proven it. Washington hasn't been, fantastic against the pass. So, he's going to get his touches. He's going to get his catches. Whether he gets in the end zone or not is kind of the key with him. But for security and safe reasons, I think Smith is a fine third receiver in this lineup, without a doubt.
Yeah, I definitely do too. I like him a lot. He kind of rounds out that core. We talked about OBJ. We talked about Antonio Brown. We never really need to give them too much analysis. I mean, those guys are 2 of the better guys. But we'll kind of talk about OBJ. I mean, you expecting huge things out of him this week, or are you kind of fading him in cash?
I'm playing him in cash. I'm playing him everywhere this week. I just think he's been locked up for too long. He's just got too much to prove, and all the discussion of him being a head case and all this other stuff this week, I think is just I think the writing's on the wall for a huge game this week. And the Packers can't slow him down. So, I'm seeing big things from him.
Yeah, me too. And no Sam Shields, so that adds to it. I mean, as you mentioned, the passing defense has been horrendous this year. Another kind of 2 tight end set did the same thing last week. I mean, I kind of like it because they're both so cheap. Yep. Kyle Rudolph, Zach Ertz, I mean, both great matchups. Rudolph has been getting targeted heavily.
Yeah, that's the thing. Possessions and red zone threats, that says everything there. And if you look at the other options, if you look at $3,600 range receivers and running backs, the options aren't great. I mean, you're looking at Kenny Stills, Sammy Coates, Nelson Aguilar, guys who have potential, but not as much security as these two tight ends. Running backs, you're looking at Kenneth Dixon, Jay Ajayi, Matt Asiata, guys like that who are, just as volatile, if not more so, than these tight ends. So it seems strange, but I'm perfectly content rolling these guys this week.
Yeah, I definitely am too. And then Vikings defense, I mean, hard not to like them right now. Just
Yep,
they've been playing the best fantasy defense in football.
yep, yep, no
And
doubt.
I know you like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very fun to watch.
Yeah, I like them a ton. I mean, Houston does have some weapons, but I think with Brock Osweiler under center, it just doesn't really matter at this point.
Yep, yep.
GPP, you're looking at kind of a Ben Roethlisberger pivot. You're looking more at that game because they insert Brandon Marshall, which is really a nice correlation play.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. It's he's going to get his catches, and with the questionable status of Enunwa now and Decker being out, if he's playing, he's going to be getting a lot of looks this week. The crazy thing with Marshall is he gets his targets. I mean, he got a ton last week. I think he was targeted 12 times, only 4 catches. So, it says a lot about Fitzpatrick play, but if he can somehow step up today, Marshall could be in line for a big, big game against Pittsburgh for sure. So,
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, with Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown there, you kind of get the other piece of the pie on the other side to kind of hope that goes back and forth. You also see Jerick McKinnon pop up, who I like in all formats this week at 4K.
yep.
Really solid value.
Yeah. Yep. And I think people were kind of hesitant. They were excited he was going to be the starting running back. They used him against Carolina. And, he still fared pretty well. He only had 45 yards, but he still got his catches. Last week, you saw the better side and the upside of McKinnon. I think it's only going to get better. And this week, Houston, without Watt and that, the defense might be a little bit more on edge. He's going to get his catches. He's going to get his yards. And you never know, he might finally break a touchdown. So you can cross your fingers and hope. But I really like McKinnon's matchup this week. And at
Yeah,
that price, you can't go wrong.
yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I mean, 4K, even if he doesn't find the end zone, he'll still be fine at that price tag. Um, Looking at the rest of the guys here, Emmanuel Sanders, 6,800. I like him really in all formats this week. He's been a guy who's been really consistent.
Absolutely. Reception wise, yardage wise, he's just the guy. Doesn't matter who's throwing to him. You saw last week when they did the quarterback swap, he was targeted just as heavily, if not more. So Sanders is as safe as they come this week, especially against Atlanta. So yeah, I love the receiver core in this lineup as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a pretty rounded out group. You do lose OBJ, but you really do have two stable guys around him. That a lot of upside.
Yep.
Another two tight ends said Zach Miller though this time. Do you prefer this one or do you like Rudolph more? Rudolph Ertz?
I'd probably go with Rudolph Ertz. I think just possession wise, Miller has been solid at in GPP it might be. I guess it wouldn't be terrible to use Miller just for differentiation from other players, but yeah, I could go do a coin flip. I think Miller's health is kind of the question mark there too. It looks like he's got a questionable status still, so I'd be keeping tabs on that a little bit. If he's full to go, I'd be fine plugging Miller in GPP.
Yeah, I definitely do too. I mean, you look at that Chicago team really banged up, so it is going to be one to keep an eye on come Sunday morning.
Yep, yep.
Eagles defense, 2,900. Tough to come off the Vikings this week, but I think the Eagles are an intriguing GPP defense.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. Stafford definitely can turn the ball over when he gets pressured, and defense, you just never know what's going to happen in game scripts and all that. So, in GPP, I'm fine rolling with these guys just to see what happens.
Yeah, I definitely am too. In your stack here, you're looking at the Giants, Eli Manning, OBJ, and Sterling Shepard. Pretty reasonably priced group. I mean, just because Eli's 6K, Shepard's not badly priced, so it allows you to kind of fit in a lot of the guys. I mean, the only new face we see is Cole Beasley who pops up. But outside of that, I mean, it's pretty much the same core.
Yeah, yep. It looks like the same, and I'm pretty comfortable with it. The Giants stack, like we've covered already. It's just I love it this week against Green Bay. Beasley's the only kind of question mark. He only had 4 targets last week. I would consider, especially in GPP, swapping him out with maybe a guy like a Dontrell Inman or a Eddie Royal, perhaps. Eddie Royal's value should be going up, and his cost is very low this week. So I would definitely be plugging in one of those guys probably instead of Beasley this week. But otherwise, I love this stack lineup as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Cole Beasley's kind of lost his lust for me. I mean, it's not a bad matchup, but I just think, as you mentioned, there's a lot of guys out there that I do prefer. Dontrell Inman being kind of the one, Eddie Royal if he gives it a go. Those
Yep.
are the guys I'd rather swap to.
Yep.
So that's going to wrap it up for this week's Optimal Lineups and Stacks review. Be sure to check out dailyfantasycafe.com for our great tools and content.